you for sharing that.
Yeah, I hope our listeners go away with a new tool to put in their toolbox.
Welcome to the Kickass Couples Podcast. This is the place where we help committed couples who want to level up their marriage experience newfound clarity, hope, and confidence. We're Matthew and Kim, co-hosts and husband and wife.
In 26 years together, we've seen a lot and never thought it could be as good as it is right now. We're here to help you successfully navigate the messy, dirty, and wonderful world of marriage.
We believe all couples deserve and are capable of experiencing an extraordinary and fulfilling marriage. And each week, we're bringing you life lessons from real-life successful couples to help you grow and strengthen your relationship.
We'll get started right after this message.
If you want to learn how to experience the best, most fulfilling year of your marriage, we invite you to order Matthew's new book, Kickass Husband, Winning at Life, Marriage, and Sex. You can get it at Amazon.com or visit Matthew's website, www.matthewphoffman.com. Again, that's Amazon.com or www.matthewphoffman.com. And now, back to the show.
Murshidah Said is a multi-award-winning international speaker and consultant on personal and corporate transformation. After graduating with a Bachelor of Economics and Sociology from the National University of Singapore in 1993, Murshidah has been running successful businesses expanding throughout Asia over the last 20 years. She is the main host of Jewels of Inspiration radio show on Malaysia's IKIM FM radio station. Murshidah was awarded the Best Personal Brand and as Life Transformer by the Singapore Marketing Institute in 2017. Murshidah is acknowledged as one of the top 10 transformational female leaders in 2021 by Exelon magazine in the United States and as one of the top 100 transformation leaders for value creation by Go Global Business School in Singapore. She advocates for Malaysia's underprivileged communities, which include the destitute, homeless, sex workers, runaway teenagers, and abused women and children. Murshidah makes frequent trips to help spread awareness of those in need and organizes street feeding events to help the homeless. She collaborates with NGOs to run mindset change programs for the underprivileged, as well as for counselors and volunteers. Murshidah has a beautiful daughter with her husband Zeal, and together they form a dynamic team. Zeal is a trainer, speaker, and life coach with more than 15 years of experience in the professional training and coaching industry. He is also a socially conscious entrepreneur. Zeal has trained hundreds of people to become trainers, coaches, and overcome mindset and communication challenges. Murshidah and Zeal's company, Love and Respect Transformation Center, was awarded the Brands for Good Award in 2019 for business model and community giving in Singapore, and also received the Green Malaysia Project Management Award 2020 under the category of sustainability. Zeal has been featured in various media channels, including TV, radio, newspapers, and magazines like NTV7, IKIM Radio, Harian Metro, Star, Vulcan, and many others. Welcome back to the Kickass Couples Podcast. My bride Kimberly and I have our first, well, we've had international connections before, only to Canada though, but we are pleased to have Murshidah and Zeal joining us from Kuala Lumpur. We are here at 9 in the evening and you all are at 9:30 in the morning. It's a whole nother day where you are.
Yep.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here. We're so excited.
Terrific. Well, so are we. So we love to start off all of our podcasts with the same question. And Murshidah, I'll start with you. I'd like to know, what do you think makes you and Zeal a kick-ass couple?
Well, thank you. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge both of you, Matthew and Kimberly, for also, getting us on board and, acknowledging that we are kick-ass. I never thought of it that way. But if you were to ask me what makes us a kick-ass couple, I would say we do things that a lot of people don't do. especially where we come from. For example, we love to, we do go out to, we started street feeding in Malaysia, where not many people actually go out and feed the homeless at that time, back more like 15, 20 years ago. And now a lot of people are already doing that. We started reaching out to refugees also, at a time where people were not really, concerned so much with migrants and helping people other than their own communities. We started to reach out and we made it very public. And now a lot of other people are also doing that. I'm very grateful for that. And I think recently we started doing horse riding and encouraging people in their 50s and 60s to start riding horses. And now I'm doing horseback archery, and I'm encouraging that. And I think with Zeal's support and also him coming on board and doing things that we think these are fun stuff. This is what couples should be doing together as a family, not just going to the mall and doing the normal things over weekends. I think that makes us a kick-ass couple.
Wow, that's a great answer. Zeal, what would you add to that? What would you add to Murshidah's beautiful definition of what makes you all a kick-ass couple?
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Matthew. So one of the things that I feel that makes us a kick-ass couple is because we have the utmost love and respect for each other. For example, we use our tagline is love and respect, because for me, no matter how outrageous Murshidah's goals are, no matter how big it is, I never put her down. I always support her. As long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, I will support her. She shared about in her 50s, she decided, say, Zeal, I want to take horse riding lessons, right? If you ask, we are Asian culture, most of the people, if you ask older people, they will say you're crazy, you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna, you might even kill yourself, that kind of thing. But for me, because I understand about her and I respect her, I actually encourage her. Right? She even took a notch higher. Not only she wanted to go for horse riding, but she went for horseback archery, which is a totally different level altogether, So, and we always have that respect for each other. I also have my dreams. There was one time, I had an opportunity to attend my mentor, one of my idols, seminar, which is Les Brown. And at that time, we were at the worst time of life. We were challenged financially, emotionally, physically, and it seems impossible for us to go there, but Murshidah always gives me even though sometimes I'm down, she always gives me the encouragement, Zeal, you can do it, and then that gives me the strength to say, okay, I can do it, no matter what other people say we are crazy, we are whatever it is, but I keep on going because I know Murshidah is there to support me. At least there's one person there to support me, and eventually we actually made it. We booked the flight and our accommodation to go to see Les Brown in Arizona. I think a few hours before the actual event. Can you imagine? Yeah. So that's why we make a kick-ass couple, because we really support and believe in each other. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, both of you gave fantastic answers, and the big smiles on your face tell me that you genuinely feel that in your hearts, which even makes it more sincere.
Absolutely. Well, I want to go back in time a little bit with each of you. I really believe that in many cases, we're the product of the people who raised us. And in some instances, that's a great childhood and a very positive upbringing. And sometimes it can be negative or even traumatic. We all come again from different places. And so I'm curious, Zeal, what did love look like in your family when you were growing up as a young boy?
All right. Thank you for asking, Kimberly. So for myself, let me just give you a bit of context about my parents, right? My parents are my father, he was a government officer, right? And he's very strict, very regimented, very structured household. And then my mother she was a school teacher, which eventually she became a consultant and a trainer. So she's more outgoing, more she's very vocal, and she's very value based. So a lot of things when I see them growing, when I grew up and I saw them, they are not the kind of very affectionate. They don't do hugs and they don't do kisses, but they show their love to each other through actions. For example, my father, his way of showing love to my mother was giving her the best life possible. like she works very hard, and she makes sure that she's very comfortable. She has what she wants. She wanted to become a teacher, so she supported her. And then there was one time when my father was a diplomat, so we studied we went overseas in Indonesia for his service, and she was a full-time housewife. But he actually supported her, like she liked to do social work. She taught at schools and all that. And my father really supported her in terms of financially, emotionally, what she wanted to do, right? And then my mother was I would say, a very loyal and a very good wife, in the sense that she really understands her husband. My father was very busy in his work. He used to travel a lot, and he was not home most of the time. So when she's not home, she's the one, she took care of us, really took care of us, to make sure that we had she was a very good cook, so she cooked a lot of dishes, Western dishes, local Asian dishes. And we had a very good memories when we grew up, because we had a very good home environment. We had good food. We had a very good role models as parents. They were very successful in their careers, and because of that, I told myself, right, I really want to emulate my parents and become just like them. But at the same time, there's also certain things that I felt that was not aligned with what I wanted to do with my family. So I said, okay, I took the good things, but the things that did not work for me, I told myself I'm going to improve it. So when it came to me and Murshidah, we decided to have our own family where we incorporate the values of what we wanted in our family. The good ones we take, but the ones that did not work, we stop it there and we continued with what we wanted. Yeah.
Sure. Well, did you have a large family? Were there a lot of siblings, or were there just a few? A lot?
Yeah, my family, I had a sister, my elder sister. She's 2 years older than me. Now she's a doctor. And then I not many people know this, but I have a twin brother. I'm a twin myself.
Wow.
Zeal, my brother is Zol, yeah. But we are totally opposite of each other, But yeah, Zol is my twin brother, and I have a younger brother, Azrael. He's now he's staying in Hawaii now. So yeah, so we have in our family 4 of us.
There were a lot of you then.
Personalities.
So your mother was very busy at home with you then.
Yeah, she was a very good mother, a very good housewife. She used to cook for us. She used to make sure that we were very well taken care of. That's why we can feel that, even though she's not the kind of affectionate, but we can feel her love through her service and the way she treated us. Yeah.
Sure. So it sounds like there wasn't a lot of affection that was modeled for you, meaning a lot of hugs and kisses and I love yous, but there was a lot of respect, and there was, a lot of service, and your family really made sure that your needs were being met.
Sure.
And how about you, Murshidah? What was it like when you were growing up? How was love modeled in your family?
Yeah, actually, listening to Zeal, it's very similar. But when I first got to know his family, I come from Singapore. He's Malaysian, right? The family's Malaysian. I thought, like, wow, why are people so lovey-dovey in Malaysia? In my family, we don't shake hands. We don't shake hands with the siblings. We don't hug and kiss. Yeah, we just it's all acts of service, and that's how we show love. And my parents also never showed love. But when I first saw Zeal and how his sister greeted him, she actually kissed him, right? They kissed his cheek, and I was like, oh, that will never happen in my family. So I had a little bit of adjustment when I got married to Zeal, like more hugs and kisses. And that's how I was like when Zeal met me. I believe that growing up, I was not exposed to a lot of physical touch, or how my parents were, affectionate with each other. But I saw a lot of affection when my mom was sick. When my mom passed away more than 30 years ago, but when I was, there, when she was ill, and my father was there 24/7 with her in the hospital. That was when I saw a lot of affection. He was hugging her. He was taking care of a lot of things. He did more than the nurses at the hospitals. He said a lot of loving words. And I was like, I didn't see that when she was healthy. They were like, they were good to each other. They were very, acts of service, but I don't see that until she was sick. And I told myself that I wanted to have that kind of relationship with my husband. And it took a a little bit of adjustment on my part to really get comfortable with things like this, holding hands,
Of course.
all that. I had to work on that as well. And I think Zeal also was like trying to break through, like, don't touch me, don't touch me in public kind of thing. So I had to break past that one. For me, the acts of service is love. I mean, I don't have to say I love you. I don't have to be romantic or whatever, but it's just, I did this for you. Isn't that love? So that was how I saw things. But when I saw what my father did, I said, how can I have that in my life? So I had to learn more that, it's more than just, applying it in my reality, because I see that in a lot of, Hollywood movies and all these romantic comedies. And it's just like, oh, that's how they do it. But, I cannot.
Yeah.
But it is something that I started to work on, and how I have it in my marriage right now. And with my daughter. With my daughter, it's a lot of physical touch and hugs and kisses, the I love yous openly.
Of course.
So that is how it shaped our family.
Well, I love that you saw that and you said, I want that. I want more of that. When it actually was modeled for you in the hospital, you really resonated with it, and you have changed that now. And going forward, you're able to express that freely and comfortably. So thank you for sharing that.
It's beautiful. So it's a nice transition. And we have 14 key pillars that we think are qualities that really have to be in any successful relationship. And we kind of hone in on 3, and we call those 3 the 3 C's. And those 3 C's are commitment, communication, and conflict resolution. Yeah. So Zeal, I'd love to start with you and say, when you think about your relationship with Murshidah, what does commitment look like? How is commitment demonstrated in your relationship? How do you see that quality expressed, either from you to her or from her to you?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for asking the question. Yeah. So for me and Murshidah, because we do the same business. Now we're in the same business, and we do a lot of things together. So we actually, my commitment to her is actually we have to also have a separate time for business and also for our own personal lives. It cannot be like everything is intertwined, because it'll cause a bit of chaos. So what we do is because we usually spend, when we do business, we are about business, we are very busy. But when we have for us, our goal is to actually have at least one family holiday a month. So we always spend time together, and also as a family. So we always allocate that kind of schedule to have some personal time with each other as well. Not just business, but it's also fun, going out, traveling around. And then we have our passion for horses. So we are really into horses right now. So we do things a lot together in terms of even personal life. And we really commit to doing things together. Like, for example, one of the things that got me attracted to Murshidah was she had the same values as me. She loves helping people. She wants to leave a legacy. So that's one of the things that I look for a couple as well. I don't want somebody who's just, they're into the material things. They want this and that, but they're not into like helping others. And when I saw Murshidah, she resonated with that. So we do a lot of activities, like Murshidah mentioned. We do a lot of feeding the homeless. Now we do a lot of programs for the refugees in terms of giving them groceries, doing business mentorship. So we really commit to each other in terms of respecting each other's time, our goals. But at the same time, we also have our own things that we do together as well. Yeah.
That's great. So you enjoy spending a lot of time together and creating experiences. And it sounds like you're disciplined to commit to not allowing the business to take over, because when you live together and do business together, it's difficult to have that separation. How about for you, Murshidah? What does commitment look like to you in your relationship with Zeal?
I believe that in terms of commitment, it is more about keeping to your word. And when we say something, that we do something, we actually mean it. It's not like we say something but we mean something else. So and we promise something, we'll fulfill it. If we cannot fulfill it, we'll be upfront about it. I think that is what is commitment, between us. And when I read about, your 3 C's and the commitment, and I was thinking about what is commitment in our relationship specifically. It is actually, I don't believe I have any secrets with Zeal at all. It's like he knows my thoughts, even the ridiculous ones, even the ones that are, it's just, I just say it and that's it. And then, judgments aside or whatever, that is how it is. So I believe that is how commitment is like for me, that there's no, secrets, and whatever I say, I mean, and and even if it is out of anger, he knows it is something that it is going to be short-lived, and it's not something that I out of hatred or something like that. It comes out of perhaps emotions or something like that. Yeah. So being honest with my feelings and be in integrity of my promises as well. I think that is what's commitment.
I love that concept of being impeccable with your word is a great agreement. And I love the fact that you have that honor with one another.
Our second C is communication. And we believe that good communication and frequent communication within a relationship is vital. And I'm just curious, Zeal, how do you and Murshidah make time to communicate? You all are busy. You have, each of your own little sort of whirling vortexes going on over here. And, you have family. How do you make time for the two of you to interact with each other? And what does that look like?
Okay, thank you for asking. So one of the things that Murshidah and I have a passion about is we both love to eat. We like to try different kind of foods. So our time, like if you want to spend time together, right, we always spend it around food. For example, like we have our favorite restaurants in KL. We have our favorite steakhouse in very near our house, walking distance. So like if anytime we want to be spending time together, we'll tell, okay, our daughter, either she goes to my brother's house, and then we will go to our favorite place to eat, and that's where we actually share about our dreams, our goals, and we're very open to each other. And that's when we are at the highest energy, when we are in very nice environment, having nice food. And even now we are together in a hotel together, right? We check in a hotel. So we are always in that kind of very high energy. And I noticed that when we both are in that kind of very high energy, a lot of all these amazing ideas for our life and our business comes up. So that's what we do. We actually spend a lot of time around food and travel with each other. Yeah. And now horses. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I love that, you put yourself in a position, like you said, where you have high energy. Yeah. And that's a great time to be goal setting and to connect and to really, go on a deeper level with each other.
Yeah.
How about for you, Murshidah? How would you define communication in your relationship?
Okay. For me, communication is being able to understand and know what the person is going through or what the person is experiencing. I don't always spend time with Zeal anyway, because I do travel for my corporate training. Sometimes I go to different states around Malaysia to train organizations, and we're always on the phone as well when it comes to keeping in touch with each other. like WhatsApp, and we're always like communicating in terms of like we know what's going on. Oh, I'm here, I'm training, and we may not be talking the whole day, but he knows what I'm doing. And then in between, we have our Calendly also. If let's say there's any meetings that set up, we are there, so I can see it. So we know what's going on in each other's lives, and that's what I believe communication is, rather than someone does something alone and nobody knows what's going on. And I believe that's important. And even if we have some disagreements, we also communicate about it, and we know what the other person is thinking, rather than not talk about it, or just keeping quiet and just feeling all resentful and not expressing that. So I believe that's really important, to be able to understand where the person is, and if you need some time off, you spend some time off, but what the other person is going through, and you keep in connection with each other. Yeah.
Sure. That kind of leads right into conflict resolution.
Yeah, our third C is conflict resolution. And in every relationship, there's always times where we either have different viewpoints or one is maybe struggling and conflicts can arise. So, Murshidah, what does conflict resolution look like? How do you and Zeal deal with disagreements, or how do you approach conflict when those things arise where you're not seeing eye to eye, or you may not be of the same opinion?
Yeah. Sometimes it does get, situations where someone is unhappy or angry. What I realize is, what worked for us is when a person is angry, the other person also does not have that same level of anger at the same time. So the other person will calm down. I know both of us, sometimes we do face conflicts, and then but we make sure that we do not talk over each other or shout at each other. If anything like that happens, we just take some time out, and then after that we'll find a time where everything is a little bit better, that are you ready to talk? Yeah, then we'll talk about that. So that is really important to us, not when we experience someone angry and then the other person matches that energy. It's always like, sometimes I'm the one who gets angry, and then he is the cooler person. He's like, relax, chill. Chill, let's have fun. He'll balance that. Of course, sometimes I get angrier, but that he does not try to like argue over me. Just we'll just cool off, and then we'll come back again to talk. I think that's important as well, not to both be at that level of anger at the same time.
Sure.
So I think that works for us.
Okay, how about for you, Zeal? What's your approach when you and Murshidah don't seem to see eye to eye on something, or maybe have a disagreement over something personal, or maybe even in business?
Yeah. So basically, I'm actually a very spiritual person. Like, I grew up, my family had a lot of values, a lot of spiritual. So they actually inculcated a lot of those things inside myself. So like for myself, right, I don't do things out of anger. Like if I'm in anger mode, like if I'm very angry, I do not like go and talk to a person. I make sure that I'm centered first. For example, what I do is I do my prayers first. I meditate. I make sure that I'm in a state of calm. Then only I will go and talk to somebody, especially like with Murshidah. Sometimes we do want to strangle each other, because we are loggerheads in terms of our opinions of doing business. But what I do is I center myself by doing prayers. And then we have this very powerful exercise that we do in our family. We have this exercise, we call it what I feel like sharing. So this, what I feel like sharing. So what we do is, when we are having conflict, we will sit down and face each other as close as possible, maybe even our knees touching each other. And we will start off with, like, for example, I will say to Murshidah, what I feel like sharing is, I will share whatever I'm not happy about, anything that I'm not happy, anything that's in my mind. And the rule is Murshidah cannot interrupt at all at any point of time. She must allow me to express myself. Once I finish expressing myself, then she gets a chance to share what she feels like sharing. And it's not to refute whatever I said, it's to share what she is feeling at this moment of time. So that we know it's exactly, I'm frustrated because of you did this, you did that. And we know where we are coming from. We are not like trying to argue over each other, not trying to win an argument. We are trying to find what is our mutual ground and what we are feeling at this point of time. So we learn to respect each other that way. And it has been very powerful. We applied it with our daughter, with the people that our clients as well. When we do training, right, we have this exercise, what I feel like sharing, and it works amazingly in not just in our family, but even outside of our family as well.
That's beautiful. I love that. When it comes to creating a kick-ass marriage, do you ever wonder what you could be doing better? Have you ever thought how helpful it would be to be a part of a like-minded community of other imperfect couples who want to level up in their number one relationship? Come visit Kickass Couples Nation, where you can talk with people just like you who are looking for ways to invest in and increase their joy, commitment, and fulfillment in their most important human relationship. You'll have access to a team of licensed marriage therapists, coaches, articles, podcasts, live webinars, and more. Just visit MatthewPHoffman.com so you can learn more about a community that's ready to help you level up. That's MatthewPHoffman.com so you can become of the growing Kickass Couples Nation right now. Two things that you said, Zeal, I want to come back to. One is you get yourself centered before you try to come back and connect with Murshidah or somebody else, and saying prayers, meditating, but that's a very mature and responsible way to approach it, because you're taking emotion out of it and really making sure that you're in touch with most important and valuable to you, so you can take your best self and then engage with the person you love and care about or that you're working with. And I think that centering practice is huge. And then I love what I feel like sharing. That's a wonderful family practice, and also a personal one, which just sets an opportunity for each person to be able to be heard and express without judgment, or it's not an argument. It's, this is what I feel like, because understanding what your partner feels like is critical if you're going to reach that understanding and really try to be effective as a couple and in a relationship. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I hope our listeners go away with a new tool to put in their toolbox when it comes to having moments like those together. I think that they're very valuable. And when we can learn how to be able to express ourselves in a very respectful and loving, caring way, that's when we learn a lot about each other. And it's a great opportunity rather than it being conflict. It's more about learning. And we actually have 11 other pillars. And in the 11 other pillars, I'd love to hear from each of you which one of those most resonates with you and why. And either one of you can go first.
Okay.
You want to start?
All right. Okay. For me, when I look at the pillars, right? What being a very spiritual person, I love the one about faith and moral code. Because for me, I feel like even when I do my coaching and my training with my clients, and even in my family, I put that as a foundation. The faith and the moral code, like as long as we have values, we practice what we are meant to do on earth, right? We have certain guidelines. Like in our religion, we already have the guidelines of what we need to practice to make a good relationship, how to do business and all that. So I always use that as a foundation, and everything builds on top of that. So I really resonate with that faith part, which I believe is an integral part of our life, not just in business, but in our communication with our spouse, with our children, with the people around us, how we do things, right? And I've seen like so many in my clients who are faith-based, right? They actually get out of their conflict or their problems much faster than people who they don't believe in a higher power, they don't believe in certain values or universal values. Their problems keep on repeating one after another. They do not really I met people like they're not faith-based. 5 years later, they're still having the same challenges. But people who are faith-based, they don't have to be religious, but they are more spiritual, they are more value-based. They get out of their problems very fast. So when we apply that in our family, we have the most amazing relationship, the most amazing time together, and we are very, we always think ahead, like if we were to leave this world, right, what we're going to leave behind? What is our Creator will ask us, what do you do in your service to me and also to others? We have no regrets. We can live, say we have done our best to help others, and we have done whatever in our faith to do, and we will live this world in a very no baggages. We will live with no bad conscience. We have a very peaceful passing to the other side of the world. Yeah.
Sure. How about for you, Murshidah?
Yeah, I really resonate whatever Zeal says, especially when it comes to faith and moral code. That for me is really important. And I also would like to highlight, I love all your 14 pillars, Matthew and Kimberly. One of the things that is also really important to me is fun and humor, because that keeps the energy and high vibe in our family as well as in our relationship. And that is the other one I put in high priority. Having fun and humor doesn't have to be all, why go through life with so much anger, burden, and all of those things? I mean, it's not like everything has to be, around money and wealth. With whatever resources that we have, we can always have lots of fun and humor at the same time, even if simple food at home, and we make jokes with each other, we entertain ourselves. Yeah. I think that is very important to me, and that keeps our relationship fun and lots. We have lots of laughs in the family, in the homes. And the other ones that also really resonate with me is the selflessness. And I'd like to share this with all the viewers out there, or the listeners out there, that many years ago when Zeal and I were also going through tough times in our relationship, because we were really struggling financially. We were we just moved to a different country, and I had to start my business. I only had like 50 cents in my wallet, and we were asked to leave the house. And at that time, I was facing a lot of anger towards why is my life like this, right? And then I was like upset with Zeal at the same time. And when, we managed to come out financially and, somehow we didn't resolve that part of the anger with Zeal for myself, until there was a time when we visited an orphanage. And when we went to the orphanage, I saw babies abandoned as young as 2 weeks old. And that was when everything was like in perspective for me. Why am I upset over small things? There are bigger things to work to, what can I do to help these children? What can I do to help this world so that people don't abandon their own child, and live in the jungle, leave them abandoned or to die in the jungle and all that. So that was when, the act of selflessness, thinking beyond ourselves also came in, and it puts a lot of gratitude in us. It puts more, faith as well in our relationship, and working together with the same cause of serving God, serving humanity. And I believe that is really powerful in our relationship.
It sounds like it was transformational for both of you as well.
We have
for you individually and as a couple.
What? Sorry.
Individually and as a couple, it was very transformational for you.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And we do webinars in Kickass Couples Nation, and we're talking this Thursday about selflessness and why it's more important to give than receive. And one of the things you shared, exactly something that I always share, is when someone is angry and upset and I don't have this and I need that and it's terrible. And, when we get caught up in how bad our circumstance is, the best thing you can do is to give and help somebody else.
Yes.
Because it takes your focus right off of your own problems. And then you realize that the problems you have are really not that big compared to so many others. And you have the ability to help them, and it helps lift you out of that thinking.
Yeah.
And so I love that example, and we've used that often and come back to it, and it's incredibly powerful. So that kind of leads to a fun idea that we have, and Kim and I talk about it a lot. It's called spillover thinking. And Kim and I feel that the strength of our relationship, we just celebrated 28 years of marriage together. Yes, big hooray! We're excited, and and I can honestly say that it's better than I ever thought it could be, and I'm grateful for that. And one of the things that we feel is the goodness of our relationship and what it's founded on, our faith and our beliefs and our values, is really what allows us to be successful in every other area of our life. So our goodness, we have so much good between us, we think it spills over. And it spills over to a lot of different areas. So I'm curious, how does the good of your and Zeal's relationship, Zeal and Murshidah, how does your goodness spill over into other areas of your life?
Yeah, like for myself, right, I always see myself as like an ambassador of love and respect, because I feel that everything in our world, right, is energy. Right, and this energy cannot be destroyed. It can change form, right? But this energy, right, it can be transferred from one person to another, even though like there's somebody at the end of the world in another country, 1,000 kilometers away, as example. If we have this love, they actually can be transferred to them as well, and it's been proven scientifically. So that if I see myself as an ambassador of love and respect, I must emulate myself in everything that I do with with Murshidah, with the people around me, right? And we always do this as much as possible to practice. We know that we also have weakness. We are still a work in progress. Yeah. We know we do have our times and we do have a meltdown as well. but we immediately switch. We tell ourselves, okay, this is our foundation, our love and respect. So, and a lot of chaos in the world happens because of love and respect from a very early age. As a child, even, like why we started this love and respect movement, because we saw in families, in education, in schools, there's lack of love and respect in the world. For example, right, I always tell parents, right, parents, they love their children. All parents love their children, but sometimes they don't respect their children. Right? What I mean by that is, a lot of parents, they don't really take the time to understand what is their child's dreams, their goals, what is their passion. They want the child to be what they want to be. Like I was cringing one time when I heard a parent say, my first 3 children must become engineers. Regardless, they don't care the children's dreams, want to become an artist or whatever it is. They just want the children to follow their agenda of what they want, So like for me, is respecting a child is seeing their strength. Their God has sent them on earth with their own strength and their own talents. we must respect that. Like my daughter, she's not gifted academically, but she is very gifted in terms of she loves doing business. She has a very entrepreneurial mindset. And even like she saw something that day, we went to the stables. There's a cafe that's not being used, and then she said, "Mommy and Baba, I want to start this cafe and make people, give food and all that." And we actually encourage her to do that, even though we say she might not be well academically, but she wants to do business. We are all in for it. We're gonna support her. So that is the respect that I'm talking about when we embody it, right? A lot of those couples around us, right? Even our own family members change because of us. Like we used to do a lot of street feeding, and then we used to go to even areas which is quite dangerous, where some people say you cannot go inside this area because it's dangerous. But we used to go inside it. And because of our act, right, a lot of people started doing the same thing. Even our family members who not really do charity, they just do on the side, like give to their favorite charity. But now they are joining us in our.
That's beautiful. What a great example. I love the concept of being an ambassador of love and respect. That's beautiful. I love that. Murshidah, do you have anything to add to that about spillover thinking and how you see the goodness of your relationship spilling over into other areas of your life?
Yeah, I think most important, how I see it, is self-leadership. Like Zeal has his, how he leads himself. I lead myself as well. And as a couple, we emulate that as well. And in our coaching and training, that's how love and respect is spread. Because I work with leaders, whether it's in the organizational space or whether it's in the marginalized community space. I work with the leaders, and that is how working with the leaders, getting them to transform, lead themselves, see the bigger picture, start to do, see how they can do more good within their own organizations and in their communities. That's how it is being spread and shared with their own communities and in their organizations. And that's how this message is also spread. So I believe in self-leadership, and then also practicing what you advocate and what you believe in. And that is how other people will also, experience, and they share it with their own communities and in their own organizations. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's it.
Just maybe I add one thing, right? One of the things that I saw was when we as a couple decided to do a lot of things, as we do good things together, we do social impact, we do charity, we noticed a lot of other couples, they were inspired as well. Like a lot of couples, when they have a lot of problems, right? When they started doing charity or social work together, all their problem goes away. And that's what our formula in our life. Every time we have a problem or we are having some kind of challenge, and then we will tell each other, okay, let's go and help others. Let's go to an orphanage. Let's go and feed somebody. Let's help. Let's go visit a refugee family that's having illnesses. And sure enough, right? Every single time, the problem will just go away. No, like without even us putting enough extra effort in trying to solve the problem. The problem is a formula that the problems just goes away just like that. And sometimes we even get even better things like opportunities to do more good. Yeah.
I love that. That's a beautiful example.
Murshidah, if you could go back in time to your unmarried self and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would tell my single self that I do not have to be strong and independent all the time. It is okay to receive. And I remember I was single for a long time. I got married in my 30s, and that in our culture, it's like, really old already. So when I in my 20s, I was single a lot. And there was a lot of walls that I built around myself, that I have to be this strong, independent woman. I don't need anyone. When I would give that advice to just, trust, love, receive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
How about you, Zeal? If you could go back to your unmarried self and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Okay, yeah. So, think about it's a very interesting question, because when I was younger and I was single, right, I was very hard on myself. I was like, sort of like a perfectionist. I really wanted things that when I do something, I really want to go all out. And the thing is, I sometimes expect the same of others without understanding, their strength, their weaknesses. I'm saying that they also have their own limitations. So what I would do is, if I were to go back to my single side, I would tell myself to be more tolerant or more understanding of others. Don't expect people to be what I want them to be. Let them be themselves, but at the same time, I show by example of what they can become, how they can improve themselves. Become more of a person who shows by example than a person who tell people what to do and then expect them to be a certain way. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah,
I love that.
Beautiful. You all have been so gracious and transparent in sharing from your backgrounds. We appreciate you and want to recognize the love and respect and the ambassadors that you are of those qualities to each other and also to our listeners. So thank you for being with us tonight and sharing all those wonderful experiences.
Yeah, thank you for all that you do for other people in service of others. And you are in the business of transforming lives, it sounds like. So keep up the great work.
If people want to find you or learn more about you or connect with you, where should they go?
Okay, like for us, right? For myself, my name, like Zeal Zainuddin, is on my social medias, my Facebook, my Instagram. So in the moment they key in the word Zeal Zainuddin, which probably you guys will put in the link there later, right? They will see my social media in Google. And then like our company, we use Love and Respect Transforms. So even if they put in Google, they will see our LinkedIn, they will see our Facebook as well. So the name itself is mostly, if they want to find us, they do a Google, they will find our name there as well.
Yeah, and mine is Murshidah Said. The name Murshidah Said is in LinkedIn, is in Instagram, on Facebook as well. So love to connect.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Thanks you both very much.
We look forward to connecting with you again.
Pleasure.
Yay.
All right.
That's all we've got for this episode of the Kickass Couples Podcast. If you like the content of this show, you'll love Matthew's newly released book, Kickass Husband, Winning at Life, Marriage, and Sex. To receive a digital mini book of quotes and images from the book, all you have to do is rate this show and leave a review in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen. Then email us a screenshot of your review at podcast@kickasscouplespodcast.com, and we'll get it over to you right away. Until next time, remember, happily ever after doesn't just happen, it's on purpose.